Matthew, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for joining me today. So, guys, I thought I'd bring Matthew on because he's been selling on Amazon and eBay and multiple e-commerce platforms for years now. A lot of you will know him anyway.
Got all the wrinkles to prove it, yeah.
He's had the Amazon suspensions. He's got all the, yeah,
Been through it all.
he's
That's it.
been well, yeah. No eBay suspensions, I doubt, yet. So,
Don't be saying that. Don't be saying that. No, no, not
yeah,
yet. So
yeah. So we are going to discuss all things e-commerce, how Matthew scaled to millions online, how he manages his team, how he started, and everything like that. So, Matt, do you want to just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, a little bit about how you started and what businesses you're in now?
yeah, so started about 2010. So I've been doing this like 13 years. Officially started 2010. I've been doing a little bit of wheeling and dealing before that as online on eBay and things most people did.
Would you
Very
classify as wheeling and dealing?
classes are really. I used to buy stuff from like car boots and plug it on eBay and stuff like that, secondhand shops.
Nice.
When I was younger. So I mean, I actually lied to eBay about my age. I think eBay think I'm like 5 years older than I actually am. So don't tell them that. Just so I could get an eBay account because I think you had to be like 18 at the time and I was like 13. So I just told them I was 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started out doing eBay when I was about 13 to be honest. But I used to go to just I remember Game Station. You might be a bit young, Game Station. Before
Oh,
Game bought them out, and they used to do this 3 for 2 offer on certain games. So I used to go around and buy like the good 3 for 2s and just buy multiple copies of the good 3 for 2s and flog them on eBay. And what I used to do play.com in the very beginning. I think a few people, older listeners, will remember play.com. They closed down a few years ago, but they had a marketplace similar to sort of what Amazon is today. I think, in fact, to be honest, play.com were a little bit ahead of Amazon in terms of the marketplace, but they never really took off in the same way Amazon did. So I started off doing that years and years ago. Went to uni, carried it on, grew it. Was just working for myself until sort of 2013. Then I hired my first employee in 2013. Took it on full time when I graduated uni in 2013. Because before that, I was just sort of doing it part time as and when. Still making good money doing it, still putting sort of 30 grand a month through in sales on my own at uni part time. But then we sort of grew it full time. It's been sort of growing ever since. So we've now got a team of 10. So we started off with one person in 2013. Now got a team of 10. I've got 2 warehouses. We sell on Shopify on our own website, eBay on multiple platforms, Amazon in the UK and the EU. We do eBay in the UK and the EU. We do a bit of on-buy as well. We're looking at starting back market next year. So just sort of expanding into multiple marketplaces and hopefully sort of pushing Europe a lot harder as well. So my goal for next year is to set up a dedicated warehouse inside Europe, probably Germany. That's my goal for next year. Yeah. So we're doing sort of like 3 million turnover at the moment. Hopefully we can grow that, particularly in the EU. That's sort of our growth plan is very much heading towards Europe. And I would like to see our Europe accounts do as much as the UK account does. So that'd be good to see.
Wow. Is that the only thing you do? Or have you got another company?
So that's my main selling thing. Yeah, we also have. I also run a. Should have completely forgot about this. It's really important, isn't it? A training company as well. So with Natalie Cromie and Johnny Smith, who you may have seen in the community. So we run we do a weekly live called Beyond the Buy Box, and we also have a subscription training group, which is very much focused on sort of taking sellers from maybe you're on your own, you're doing a couple of thousand, maybe a couple of 100,000, and we're looking at sort of scaling them up and taking them through different approaches to selling. Sort of with very particular focus on bundles, which is very much like bundling products together to create your own opportunities and selling in Europe. And also we're starting a new thing on eBay next week, so that'd be really good to see as well. Again, diversification and expansion is very much about taking existing sellers and sort of refining their businesses and then growing their businesses as well.
Awesome. And guys, it's speaking from my own experience. I'm actually a member of the Hive, so it's a phenomenal group. I'll chuck a link below if you want to check that out, guys. Some sort of discount code there as well for the audience. Matthew, how did you, I know many people, including myself, actually, I've got multiple VAs that work for me, but I haven't actually got UK staff members. So it must have been scary when you took that plunge to hiring your first staff member, and then another one, and then another one, and then cash flow forecasting and things like that. I know from first-hand experience that can be scary. So, what was your mindset around that in terms of scaling that business? Was it a case of you thinking that I hate doing all this stuff, I'm willing to pay for it and get rid of it, or you just believed in yourself and that long term, because it must have affected cash flow a lot when you first hired a staff?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we use leverage. We did borrow money to expand the business, and that's one of the ways we expanded so quickly. It was calculated; it wasn't reckless. I think that's the difference. I think some people just sort of take money and then just sort of they rack up massive credit card bills and they don't plan the cash flow. So the cash flow side is really, really important. So yeah, we did take leverage to grow the business. But I guess sometimes you just got to go with it, haven't you? Sometimes you just got to roll the dice and just see how things work. I think people get very scared about taking on employees, and there's no reason to be scared about taking on employees as long as you do everything right and you follow all the processes. And there's a lot of help online on how to do that. There's no reason to be scared on how to take on employees. And in terms of job roles, I mean, my thing is it's very much about being a lazy CEO, if that makes sense. I'm not lazy, but if somebody can do something cheaper than me or better than me or quicker than me, then they should do it, not me. And that's sort of my mantra going through the business. It's recognizing what you're good at, what you're not good at. So if you don't like accountancy, for example, then you should absolutely get rid of that. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself through that if you don't like it? And also, if you know somebody's going to do it better than you, and they'll probably do it cheaper than you because they're proficient at it. So they'll probably actually, even though you may pay them money to do it, if you work out the time versus opportunity cost equation, if I do this job, how much time and money am I losing by not doing something else that I could do that I'm good at? You're probably actually costing yourself more money. So it's very much about getting rid of jobs that I don't like, things I don't want to do, things that I'm not very good at, and giving them to other people. And then sort of as you grow, you sort of drop off more and more jobs. So particularly when you start out, you've got to be all the hats. You've got to be HR, you've got to be the accountancy, you've got to be the warehouse manager, you've got to be the sourcer, you've got to do all these different jobs, you've got to be the platform manager. But as your business grows, you sort of fulfill these roles in terms of what you least like to do the most, or what needs the most attention. You give that to somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's that model that you were in when you first hired your staff. Is that the same model that you're in now? There's many different strategies you can do. Selling on Amazon, selling on eBay. You can do your own brands, just for the audience. You can do your own brands. You can do bundles. You can do arbitrage. Are you in the same model you were in now, or has your business adapted significantly?
So we are in the same model in terms of we resell. So we don't have our own products. We don't bundle our own products. And we don't have private label. But the business has evolved. So it was when I first started, it was very much retail arbitrage. Me going around shops buying stock from secondhand shops, and then we sort of graduated onto bigger retailers to get more volume. Now we work more wholesale because it's retail arbitrage is a fantastic business model, certainly for anybody starting out, and it's very profitable. But there is a limit, and that limit is your time. Because you can only go to so many shops in so many hours in so many places, and there is a limit to that. So in order to grow the business, we had to reduce the retail arbitrage, and we still do retail arbitrage, but it's very selective, and it forms a much smaller part of our business now than it did. If I went back 5 years, retail arbitrage was probably 90% on my source end. Now
we spoke a few years ago.
Yeah, but now it's probably 10% on my source, and it's not because it's a bad business model, but I can't scale it any more than I already scaled it to. We scaled it to like £1 million a year, and that was the ceiling, I think, for it. In terms of the only other way to increase it was to hire people to go out and do it, and that I felt wasn't the best way to do things, and that's why we sort of moved more into the wholesale model of buying direct from suppliers. But as part of that, as well as we've evolved and grown, we still buy from retailers, but we now buy directly from retailers, not from stores. So I still work with the same retailers, but I now get emails from the head office rather than from the store area managers. So as you grow and progress, you just kind of move up the food chain a bit.
Wow. And what's focus on your particular model played in your success? Because let me just explain what I mean. I find myself in my particular journey, so I think most people watching this will follow me anyway. I've sort of discovered, I started with a bit of retail arbitrage, and then I did online arbitrage, and then I did bundles, and now I'm launching my own private label brands, and I feel like I'm sort of going up the chain, right? Whatever this is, and then trying to get into brand exclusive stuff where we have the rights to sell products for brands. All this stuff that I believe from the information that I've got, my hypothesis is that is a really scalable thing to get into, brand exclusivity and private label. However, you seem to have stuck to pretty much the same model and you significantly scaled your business and seen a lot of success. So do you think that was a case of, I'm going to stick to this and make this work and make that my full focus? Or did you believe that you were always in the right model, if that makes sense? Because I feel like I'm trying to discover better ways always, but it sounds like you're just trying to make your thing better.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's consistency, time, niching down and focus. So the biggest success, this is where I think people go wrong. People think to make more money and sell more product, they have to sell more products. But you don't have to sell more products. You have to sell more of one type of product. And that's where I think people go wrong. And they think, oh, if I need to expand, then I need to get into grocery, or I need to get into pet care, or I need to do this, and I need to get into this category. And what they're not doing is they're not niching down. And by niching down, you're working with fewer brands on a bigger basis, and that will grow your business far more than simply just doing more in the wrong way. And I think what people misunderstand, particularly with sourcing, is that product knowledge is your biggest asset. So if you have no knowledge of grocery, you've never sold grocery, you've never worked in the grocery industry, why are you selling grocery? Because you've got no product knowledge. If you like horse riding, for example, you have the massive competitive advantage over everybody else because you know about horse riding, you know the good brands, you know what people need, you know what sells well, you know what people want. You've got your head and shoulders above the competition. Yet people think, oh, I'm going to go into grocery. Well, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with grocery. I'm just using grocery as an example. You're not leveraging your product knowledge to put your head and shoulders above everybody else. And B, you're not going to have any interest in grocery. You're really passionate about horse riding, so you will be more inclined to look for products because you will enjoy researching the product rather than trying to find stuff on ROI that has no interest to you. And I think that makes a big difference. I sell technology because I am passionate about technology and I'm really interested in technology. So I really enjoy sourcing, and that made me really good at it because I enjoyed doing it. And I quite like sitting on the sofa on a weekend and just browsing sourcing. And I think that makes it so much more enjoyable and helps you scale the business and put more time into it, doing something you enjoy than just doing something because either everybody else is doing it or you think you should.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think it takes a few years in business to realise that how much of a difference that actually makes. Because we all look at profit, like initially, I believe most people just think about profit. But it is truly powerful, I think, also when you start thinking about the value that you're going to be giving your customer rather than the profit you're going to be making, that's when things start to definitely change. I've definitely noticed that in my business as well. And that's what you're trying to do, isn't it? You're trying to provide products. What is it exactly what you do? You're not just doing like an online arbitrage sort of model, are you? You're trying to bring new products to the market, or
so what we do is we one of our big focuses is on sort of back catalog products. So technology moves very fast, and a lot of big retailers want to stock the latest product, but that leaves them with a problem of where do they sell their stuff they don't want. But there's still a massive demand for a lot of that product because a lot of people, they want to buy an iPhone, but they don't want to buy an iPhone 15. They just want an iPhone. Retailers often have stock of iPhone 12s, iPhone 13s, lots of accessories for these models. There's going to be loads of lightning cables in now. The new iPhone uses USB-C. So what's one of our markets is we take this product, and particularly from a retail point of view, they've got very limited shelf space. So they want any kind of old product off the shelf to put the new product on, which is where we can come in and we can offer it at a discount. So it appeals to more value focused customers, and B, actually offer that for sale. Because example, if you've got an iPhone X, which is a few years old now, that phone may still be running fine. You've had the battery replaced. It's all good. But where are you going to buy a case from? You can't go into Curry's and buy an iPhone X case. You don't stock it, or any kind of phone shop, that you could come to us because we do stock those phone cases. So if we've carved out a nice little niche in a lot of the back catalog products, the older catalog products, and then of course we also offer products at a discount because we're able to buy in bulk and assist retailers in overstock when they've bought too much of a product.
And you sell that via your website with your social media audience, and I guess that's on things like that.
Yeah.
On Buy and Amazon, etc.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and we sell all of them through our channels. So yeah, in terms of the website, with social media isn't very big for us because again, what you said about understanding your customers is really important from just a general business point of view. You need to understand who your customer is and how they're going to find you. So what we found is that our customers came through Google because they had active purchase intentions. The problem is social media is very good if you have a very impulse purchase product where somebody is browsing. Clothes, for example, is a great thing. Nobody needs more clothes, right? There's very few opportunities where you need more clothes, right? So you'll be browsing and you'll go, oh, I like that t-shirt. Go on social media, add to cart, buy it. With our laptops, you don't tend to go on social media and browse and go, oh, I'll take that laptop. I'll buy it. I need a new laptop. It's a predetermined decision. It's my laptop's broken. It needs an upgrade. I need a new laptop. You're actively looking to purchase. And we found that the majority of people who were actively looking to purchase came through Google Shopping, through Google search, rather than social media. So that was one of the big learning curves we did when we launched our website, analyzing the data, learning that, yes, social media drove a lot of traffic, but it had very little conversion because people either thought, well, I'm going to come back later and buy that. We did get some sales, but it was very few because it wasn't the products we sold weren't impulse purchases. They were planned purchases. So we found that Google worked a lot better for that.
And do you know what? I'm utterly convinced that the only reason Amazon is so successful, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons, is their checkout system. It's so easy to buy products. If someone finds your product on Google, they've got to click into that product, go through, I'm not saying your website's clunky, but go through a clunky website. And when I say clunky, I mean add to cart, it's slower than Amazon. They've got to set up their payment method, but unless they've got the Apple Pay on there, you've got to just, there's usually about 4 to 5 to 6 clicks before you can actually buy something. You know what I mean? Whereas Amazon, one buy tap. Buy one, and then your card's already in there, ping. So that impulse buy it elevates so much. People are so impatient these days that that's just the way it is, isn't it? It's that how technology's done it. So I'm really convinced. If you had a website that had a buy option straight away that was connected to their Apple Pay, I don't know if you've got that. I think conversion rates would significantly grow.
Yes. Again, though, it's understanding. Yeah. So we did used to have Apple Pay, and we actually, this is a very interesting conversation. So we actually took Apple Pay off,
right?
Because it massively increased our return rates, because it made the checkout process so easy. People would accidentally buy things that they hadn't properly read into. And it cost us a lot of money because we were finding that return rates went through the roof. Now, again, this is about understanding your product, understanding your customer. If you're doing everyday grocery items, then you absolutely need Apple Pay because you want to make that process as easy as possible. If you're selling something a bit more high end that requires a bit more thought and a bit more research, then actively making the checkout process more difficult actually reassures the customer because they're going through the steps, and it means that they feel more secure in the checkout process. Whereas if it's too quick, they sometimes feel a bit uncertain because it's too easy. So it's a very psychological thing, and it's something we've learned over 3 or 4 years of running the website. Again, understanding your customers, understanding the checkout behavior, understanding the psychology, by actively slowing down the checkout process has helped us with conversion.
Fascinating. Yeah. See, I only thought of it from my perspective, but I see what you're saying now. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, because it's all about psychology, isn't it? I've definitely bought stuff, off a whim before. Oh, that's not the right size, but because it's so easy, you just do it on Amazon. Now, I don't want this to go on forever because we're both busy and stuff. But no, I wasn't saying it was gone on for too long. I just want to make sure we bring the most value to the audience as possible. So I think the best way we can bring the most value is by you've got a lot of experience. You've been selling for years online. You know, I bet you're confident even if you lost your business tomorrow, the whole thing, everything, within a year you'll have a pretty good income back from your e-commerce stuff. You know, even if you have to start again. So with that in mind, if you had to start again with the knowledge that you've already got, like just take us through step by step, as much detail as you want, exactly what you would do. What model would you do? How much would you scale it? Would you take staff on from the start? Would you not, etc., etc.? If you could just let us know exactly what you're doing, I think that will bring so much value to you.
If I had my time again.
If you had your time again.
Again, though, this is one of the things that we teach in the Hive. It's about goal setting and objectives, and there's a lot. What you want. See, this is a very interesting question because what you want at certain points in your life is very different. What I wanted when I was 20 is not what I want now. That's why a lot of what I do is in the way I do it. I don't think if I had my time again, I would scale my business as big as it is. Is the truth. I really enjoy helping people and training people and teaching people about e-commerce. I think I would keep the selling a bit smaller so that I had more time to focus on that. Is the truth. If I had my time, if somebody was starting out today in business, my 100% recommendation would be retail arbitrage with Amazon FBA. That would be my 100% recommendation. If you don't have time, again, it's all about personal choices, personal lifestyle. I understand people don't want to do retail arbitrage if they've got kids because it's difficult. You know, your probably free time is sort of like maybe 7 till 9 in the evening. Well, most of the shops are shut then. So how are you going to make that retail arbitrage work? For me, I don't have kids, 30-year-old. I can go out any time in the day. I actually enjoy the process of going out and finding products. It's a bit like a treasure hunt. Then I would say you want to get into the bundles, unique bundles, be where you can create your own opportunities and source products and put them together. So it's very much about who you are, what you want out of life, and what your objectives are. Again, I think a lot of younger people in the 20s who do want to grow a big business, then yeah, absolutely, I'd get into wholesale because that's a great way to scale your business in a quick way, and you can build a really solid, strong business, and then you can look at sort of branching into private label later on. So if I had my time again, I think what I'd do, I would probably stick to retail arbitrage and an FBA model is what I would do. But I think bundles, again, is a great opportunity for those, particularly with kids, I would say, or those who don't have a lot of free time, because once you put the initial work in to create the product, then it's a lot less effort to maintain it. Whereas retail arbitrage always needs constant attention. You've always got to be looking for deals and looking for stock.
So you would start with retail arbitrage and just do that on your own or get a small team? What would be your goals for the first year or two if you were starting again?
Truthfully, I think I would have a small team. I think it's very difficult to manage FBA, well, not just FBA, sort of any kind of e-commerce business on your own. And I think what you've got to realize is, again, do you want to create a business or do you just want a well-paying job? Because retail arbitrage on your own is just a well-paying job. There's no difference in going out and buying stuff from a supermarket, selling it on Amazon. You're trading your time for money. Yes, okay, you may get a way higher return on your time than you would in any other sort of job, but at the end of the day, you are just working a job. You're a sole trader, essentially. There's no difference doing FBA than being an electrician in that respect. So if you do want to be a business owner and you want that true time freedom, you need a team, because you need a team that you don't. If you have to be in that business at any point, then you haven't got a business, you've got a job. I think that's a very important distinction to make. Now, you will spend time in your business because you're investing time in it growing, of course. But if you can't take a day off on a whim, for me tomorrow, I don't have to turn up to work tomorrow. I just send a text. I don't even have to send a text, but I would, because it'd be a bit rude not to. I'd send a text saying, busy today, not coming in. And my business will still function and it will still run. Yeah. Now, longer term, it would need some attention, but certainly I think I could not turn up from now until next year and it wouldn't have any impact on my business whatsoever. So if you want the true time freedom, then you need to build a business and you need to build a team. If you just want a well-paying job, then sort of doing the solopreneur FBA model is the way to go.
Yeah. So you'll scale it to a small team and leave it at that. You're talking when I say you wouldn't scale it as much. Were you talking $1 million a year? You think that's a nice
Million's a nice number, yeah. Million's a nice number because again, what people don't appreciate is 0 to 100k is hard. Once you get to 100k, 100k to $1 million is quite easy. And I think it's where most people are comfortable. When you go $1 million plus, now because of the trajectory I'm on, I'm probably going to grow my business sort of 4 or 5 million anyway, because we're already there. We've already built it. So why would I not leverage it? If I had my time again, though, I think you have to understand that when you do $1 million plus, your business changes and you have to change. And your time you will not spend any time in your business, or you certainly shouldn't do. Your business, your time is spent working on the business. You should be looking at strategic goals. Like for me, I've been saying, looking at warehouses in Germany, looking at new platforms, looking at how we can refine our systems, analyzing the packing process, right? If I move this table around here, then we can save 4 minutes per order because they don't have to walk as many steps. And it's a complete mindset shift into sort of refining, optimizing, and growing the business rather than being in the business. I have no idea how to pack a parcel. I genuinely do not know how to pack a parcel. I couldn't do an FBA shipment. I haven't done an FBA shipment in 5 years.
Same. Yeah. Wow. Okay. It sounds like you started out very similar to me, as in like you were like, I want to go full empire building mode, and you are want to get this 100 million. And now you look at it going, it was actually probably much easier and less risky if you just kept it at $1 million and just 700,000-800,000 or whatever. I got about 700,000-800,000 now.
Yeah.
And it's I've only got VAs, and it runs pretty smoothly. Don't get me wrong, I'm not extracted from the business, but I can still work one day.
Yeah, for you could get a manager in now, couldn't you? Somebody just below you, 50k a year, and that would run it all tick over nicely.
Yeah,
you just check in once a week with them and make sure everything's running fine.
Yeah, but how much more profit are you going to see from $1 million to 2 million? Like if you're scaling,
this is the point. I don't think you will see any more profit. Yeah, that's the truth. This is why I say there's a very sticky spot here where $1 million is beautiful because you probably got a nice small warehouse. You've got 3 staff, let's say, or VAs or whatever. You're probably making say you're making 30% margin, 20% margin. You're probably making 200k a year. Really nice little business, really solid little business.
Yeah.
If you then scale that to sort of 2, 3, 4 million, you're going to need to then you're going to need a team of 5 at least. You're going to need to invest in, you're going to need a forklift truck probably because you're going to have to do pallets. You're going to need conveyor belts. You've got a lot of investment. So what you will see is that, yes, longer term, you will make the money, but certainly from the initial outset, your profit's probably actually going to reduce realistically. And then I think you're going to need to sort of get sort of 3, 4, 5 million, and then you will start to see a positive return on that investment. But that's why I say the million is sort of almost like a complete shift. There's a complete shift from going, when you go about registered like 100k, 85k is a threshold, isn't it? We sort of doing about 100k turnover. That's a mindset shift. Again, $1 million's another mindset shift. You've got to shift away from looking at being in the business to working on the business. And like I said, you will spend an entire day looking at what tables to buy. That's what the business job is as a business owner of £1 million, is spending the day looking for tables. I did spend a whole day looking for packing tables because it has such a big impact on your business. Buying the right, you don't just go on a random B&Q, Big Dog, and just buy the first tables. You've got to spend the time researching, picking the optimum table, because if a packing table is too short and they have to, let's say that the packer has to do an extra 2 folds, and that takes say 30 seconds per parcel. Extrapolate that by 100 parcels a day by 365 days a year. You're therefore that process is costing you potentially £1,000 a year by them having to do an extra 2 folds. So it's that kind of micro level management in terms of analyzing things that you have to shift into to grow the business.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess it comes down to sort of like, what do you want? Because I was very much the same. It's only recently I thought to myself, actually, I'm pretty happy sort of where I'm going. Like, do I want to scale my business to millions of millions? I thought I did, and I think I do. But recently I'm kind of like, I'm not sure, because the accolades you get for that, what's the difference between, I impress people if I say I'm doing $1 million a year. What's the difference between 5 million and $1 million? You know, it's just
Yeah.
If you're doing it for gratification, it means nothing. You know, it's just about
Exactly.
numbers. You know,
And exactly. And there's no right answer here. Like doing 1 million is fine. Doing 500K is fine. Doing 10 million is fine. But it's about deciding what you want, what you want, what your lifestyle is. And again, remember, if you're running a multi-million-pound business, you're gonna have to put a lot of time into that. You know, and it's going to be, I think it's not so much time in terms of time of being in the business, but it's thought time. You are always thinking about it all the time because of the level of responsibility you've got.
Yeah. So you think you would get it to 1 million, keep it like that, and then do the training thing, which you're doing now, and then just not have so much work to do, I guess. You know, there's not, when you say work, I know you're outsourced, but it's a lot of stress, isn't it? You know, you're managing a lot of staff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a lot of stress. Yeah, absolutely. It is a lot of stress. But I do enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I like the path I'm on. I chose the path, and I am going to continue growing it. We're still going to expand into Europe. I'd like to see €1 million a year out of Germany, just Germany. We're doing about 400,000 euros at the moment. I want to see that at least 1 million by next year. You know, I mean, we're discussing buying a house in Munich or maybe splitting a time and stuff. But you see, this is how the thing kind of grows and grows and grows. And then your job for what I did 10 years ago, which was literally buying stuff and packing FBA boxes, I'm now learning German and I'm looking at houses and warehouses in Germany. So it's a completely different kind of fish.
Yeah. It's a massive change. So, guys, I think it's great to have this focus on what is it that you actually want, because you know some people don't want to do their big strategic moves. You know, what tables do I want to buy, and spending a whole day doing that. That's not going to interest a lot of people. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
it's fascinating. No, it is. It's fascinating. It is.
Yeah. If you enjoy it, yeah. But it's kind of like, what do you want? And I just think that's a great takeaway from the video. You know, what do you actually want? Because what your goals are has a huge. It may sound obvious, but it has a huge impact on your mental well-being as well. You know, I'm really hard on myself because my goal is to do millions and millions, and I'm stuck here at a few 100,000, thinking I'm not doing well. But if my goal was to do 1 million and have multiple income streams, I've already done it pretty much. You know, and I'm living a pretty good life. So it's kind of like, what do you want to do? Because that's going to impact your day-to-day, you know, mental well-being, and also, like what you're going to achieve, your happiness.
Yeah. Again, exactly right. Again, if you want to build a multi-million-pound business, you're gonna have to make sacrifices. So yes, you will make. Again, I feel like I'm slagging it off having a multi-million-pound business. I have complete time freedom. Like if I wanted to, I could get on a plane tomorrow and move to anywhere in the world and not have to speak to a member of my staff for 2 months, you know, and it would still run and I'd still get my salary. So, but that's taken me years to build up, and I've had to sacrifice in the early days. I didn't take a wage for a few years and things like that, and I've constantly reinvested in the business.
Yeah,
that is your goal, and that's absolutely fine. But I think it's important to, because obviously in these communities, people put sales figures and there's millions and millions. I wish I was doing millions, but you've got to understand if that's what you want, and there's no right or wrong answer, and there's no I'm not doing as well as somebody because I'm doing 500K and they're doing 10 million. Well, they might have, like me, I've just spent 10 grand on a heating system from a warehouse, you know, so I've made no profit this month. So what do you want? It swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, a mutual friend of ours that does sort of over 100 million a year, he said to me, you know, he said, I went up to, you know, his warehouse, I know you've been there too, and went to his offices and stuff. And he said, do you know how much my outgoings are? He said, over $250,000 a month.
Yeah.
So he said, you know, be careful what you wish for, because you've got to sleep with that, you know. And it did stick with me, you know. He said, what do you want? You know, and he kept grilling me. He said, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that? You know, why do you want to do such big turnover? It's like, you know, because it's just more problems at the end of the day. Unless you 100% know why you're doing it. So yeah, I guess that why is really, really important. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, the why is so important. You're so right.
Yeah.
And again, though, people, I think one of the things really important to know is that more sales is not more profit; it's more problems. So it can be more profit, but it's definitely going to be more problems and more cost. So you've got more returns, more staff, everything like that. And if people have profit, I think the problem as well, if people have a profitability problem, I'm not making enough money out of my business, you need to look at your margins and look at your costs, not necessarily look at your sales, because if you've got a margin problem and a profitability problem, having more sales, it may solve it, but it's more likely just going to compound the problem. You've got a margin problem and you need to look at your model.
With scale, the problems are guaranteed, the profit is not.
Yes, that's a great one.
I thought of that just then. The problems are guaranteed. If you use that, make sure you quote me on the end of that.
Hayden 2023, yeah.
Sure. Matthew, just for the audience, we're going to wrap it up now. Look, James has just started his business. He works in Tesco. He wants to get out of it. He's fed up. What should he do? What's the first steps he should take?
First thing I would do, find a category that interests you. Because again, like I said, you are head and shoulders above everybody else because you know product about it. So let's say James works at Tesco's, has a passion for cars. Okay, he likes his cars. He likes to tinker with them. He modifies them. My immediate thought process is he should sell car parts because he knows about them. I don't know anything about car parts. I don't know anything about oil or all the different car parts. There's a massive market for it. He knows there's a massive market for it because him and his mates meet up every couple of weeks and show the cars off.
Yeah.
So he has that product knowledge, and he's now in the top 1% of sources for that particular product because he knows about it. Plus, he enjoys searching for it. So he shouldn't sell chocolates because he works at Tesco's. When again, maybe he might sell chocolates because he has a product knowledge because he's got experience in the grocery industry. So he might already know the suppliers that he can buy from. He might know when deliveries are and things. If he works at Tesco's and he's got a massive retail arbitrage opportunity because he's got inside knowledge, although I have to sort of work out whether it's allowed with his job role. I would say he wants to start sourcing retail arbitrage, certainly initially to make a quick profit. And then I think he wants to sort of move into the bundles, looking at car part bundles to maybe create like a car kit, cleaning kit. Again, he knows what products are really well. He knows where he buys them from. He knows what they should cost. So if he knows if a product's cheap, he will instantly know. He won't have to run. This is, again, there's a lot of tools out there and the tools are great. But if you know your market, you know when a product's cheap and you know when to buy it, you know when it's a genuine discount, you don't need to run it through a tool because you know in your head. So I would then start doing bundles of car parts in his knowledge field. And then I'd scale it from there. Then he could then maybe start, it depends where he wants to go with it. So he then may decide, I want to build a multi-million-pound business. So he then starts approaching car part manufacturers who don't sell on Amazon. Can I take your product onto Amazon? And you can see how the business can grow. But it all starts with that. I would say, I think most people will start with retail arbitrage because it depends on his financial position as well. Now, if he has a lot of cash, perhaps he's been left some money, he just happens to have savings, he could skip the retail arbitrage part and go straight to the bundles part because he has the money. But if he's somebody who perhaps doesn't have the money, and I imagine he probably doesn't because of what his job he has, then he can use retail arbitrage and online arbitrage to generate revenue, to generate profit, which he can keep in the business to give him money that he can then build bundles with.
Wow. So prove the confidence to yourself to start with. Get some cash with the retail arbitrage if you haven't got any. Get into the bundle stuff so you're building confidence even more without having to go out and do it yourself. And then start contacting brands, trying to get exclusivity with brands, I guess, or not necessarily just exclusivity, just being one of the only people that's allowed to sell these products. One of the people that's got this account. Start selling them in Europe. Start selling them potentially overseas as well.
Then that's your next stage. So you sell them in UK. Then you move into Europe, and then you move into the US, and you can see how you can expand this. This is how you grow from nothing to 100 million potentially. But again, if you don't want to, you can just stop at any stage. You don't have to continually grow.
That was really powerful, and you can do that for any category as well, guys. Like any category, you can start doing that. If you're into teas and jams, like I am, I've got some weird freak obsession with grocery and stuff. So, all I sell pretty much is teas and jams and biscuits. And that's my niche. That's just what I know all the brands, I know all the pricing, I know all the products, it's just, and that's what I'm focused on. But I'm kind of passionate about that in a way, and I don't know why. I love biscuits, maybe that's why. But
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what your passion is, but exactly you're in the top 1% of jam sources now, because you can go and look on a wholesale website and go, that jam's cheap. You don't have to run it through. You don't have to run 5,000 products for a calculator or get people to run through deal sheets, because boom, that's a cheap product. And that's why leveraging your product knowledge is so important and such a head start on everybody else. Don't look for products based on margin or based on what everybody else is selling. In fact, I would actively say if everybody's selling it, don't. Why are you copying? You need to be a leader in your field. You need to spot, as they say, the riches are in the Americans say the niches, or riches are in the niches. They are. Sure. It's 100% true. Taking one product to market with one brand could be £100 million business.
Yeah,
sourcing 7,000 products from 7,000 different retailers is a 100K a year business.
Yeah, and it builds your confidence when you see the success they're having as well. Like for example, with the jams as a prime example, I've been buying them for years, thousands of them. Like jams, selling them, putting them in my bundles. Selling them, whatever, and then opportunities come up recently, so I'm actually starting my own jam brand now. I'm really told anyone that, it's already happening, and that's because of the knowledge that I've got, the confidence that I've got of selling jams for someone else for so long. I'm like, hold on a minute, I can actually do this, So, and I know the manufacturers, because I'm literally building a brand in collaboration with one of the brands that I've been buying from already, because they've offered me an opportunity. So it's like these opportunities just start to appear, and when you know your market, you've already got the confidence to know you're going to sell it. So yeah, it's powerful. Yeah, that's exactly what you said there. Guys, thanks for watching. I think it's been really, really insightful. I know I've really enjoyed it, and I think there's some really good tips there to how to start, how to build, how to think about what you actually want to do. What's your goals before you start diving in. It's really easy to try and dive in and just start making money without thinking about what the goal is, and it's just going to have a massive effect on where you want to go and your happiness if you don't know exactly where you want to go to start with. So I'd say have a think about that before you get started.
One other thing I would say, just to finish off, is that I know we've kind of road mapped it, and I'm sure a lot of people will resonate with, oh, I'm interested in this. There's probably somebody here. There will be somebody here. So I don't have any interest. I don't know where to start. Just sell something. Just sell something.
Yeah.
And you will find it. You will find it. It doesn't. If you don't have any passions or interests, I'm just saying, if you've got a passion and interest, you've got a ready-made market and a massive head start. You don't have any passions or interests, or you don't know what to sell, just sell something. Just try it. Try something, and get a feel for the platform. Understand you are going to lose money at the start. Everybody does, and you should be prepared to accept that. You say you chuck £1,000 at this. That £1,000 you expect to lose, because you will make mistakes. You won't package products correctly. They'll get damaged. We all do this. You'll buy bad products. You'll get brand gated, or the brand will issue IP claims, or something will happen. Amazon will lose it. But it's a learning experience, and £1,000 is worth more in experience and learning than anything. Any profit you will make out of a product.
Yeah, that hands-on experience is no mentoring can do that. Yeah.
No.
However, having said that, with the right mentors around you, like Matthew, who's got the Hive, by the way, guys, it can significantly help you improve your business as well. So if you need that bit of confidence, I definitely would check out the Hive, which I'll drop a link below for Matthew's training. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. It's been fantastic, been insightful. Let us know your comments below about the episode and what you think. What sort of insights you got from it. Matthew, thanks for coming on. Hopefully you enjoy the future.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon, baby. Bye.
Bye.